on and have more fun afterwards. Although I am the king of the quiz, I am not the ultimate authority. Here on stage we have the official brain, who will arbitrate in the case of challenging questions, or challenged questions. His name is Frank Penter, and his name is law. Now, Frank studied for a BA and an MA at UCL. He was a sabbatical officer in UCL Student Union, and he's been a warden in 5 UCL halls of residence. Glutton for punishment comes to mind. He's now Director of Operations in UCL Culture, and most importantly, he's in charge of the Bloomsbury Theatre, this wonderful refurbished auditorium that we're sitting in. Frank plays the tuba, I play the viola. Don't mess with Frank, don't mess with me. Now, most importantly, we have our teams. So first, I'm going to ask the UCL alumni team, please introduce yourselves.
Hello, I'm Peter Hinstridge. I graduated in medicine in 2006, and I was the captain of the UCL University Challenge team in 2005.
Hi there, I'm Roger Wesson. Hi, I'm Roger Wesson. I got a PhD from UCL in astrophysics in 2005, and I was also on the University Challenge team in 2005.
Hello there, my name's Katie Bramall-Stainer. I read medicine at UCL from 1997 to 2003, and I was the captain of the University Challenge team in 2001.
Hi, I'm Chris Mackett. I read international relations, and I appeared on University Challenge in 1972 when we played 2, lost 2.
Thank you. Now, the alumni team have an extra team member in the audience. I'll come on to that later, but they'll be making a half-time substitution. Just a few facts about the members of the alumni team. And they're not aware of these. They're going to come up. So, Hinstridge and Wesson, along with Ollie Usher, the substitute, who's in the audience, were part of the first UCL team to get into a University Challenge final. Unfortunately, they ended up losing to Balliol in the final game by 140 points to 250, so quite an emphatic defeat there. Mackett's loyal parents bought their first colour TV to watch him on the programme. Sadly, he was part of the only team to appear twice and lose both games. Anyway, UCL Union presented him with a tankard inscribed, "Played 2, lost 2. Bramall, however, is a committed quizzer. Before her University Challenge stint, she appeared on The Weakest Link. After being voted off by 2 of her team rivals, she called them sad, shallow, and evil. Live on camera. The BBC later invited her to be part of a spin-off episode entitled Bad Losers. But most memorably, I suppose, she ended up copping off with the captain of Oriel's University Challenge team, David Stainer. They're now happily married with 2 children. David has just won BBC Radio 4's Brain of Britain competition, and he's in the audience. Can we have a round of applause for David Stainer? Now, because David is in the audience, I'm going to be looking out for any secret signalling, okay? I'm keeping an eye on you. Now, against the lineup of alumni, we have some of UCL's finest, the staff team. So please introduce yourselves.
I'm John Butterworth. I read physics at Oxford sometime in the late 80s, and I'm Professor of Physics here at UCL.
I'm James Wilson. I'm Professor of Philosophy here at UCL. I read Greek and Philosophy at Bristol, and then I did my PhD here at UCL, which I got in 2002.
I'm Professor Sophie Scott. I'm the Director of the Institute of Cognitive Neuroscience here at UCL. I did my degree in biology at the Polytechnic of Central London, and then I came to UCL for my PhD.
I'm Carla Washburn. I'm a lecturer in environmental science and policy, and I did my PhD in geosciences at Newcastle University.
Just a few facts about the staff team. Scott is the only member of the staff team who has appeared on University Challenge. She represented the University of Westminster by then on 2018 Christmas Day edition. She describes herself as unbecomingly competitive in a quiz environment.
That's not good. I apologise for anything that happens from this point on. I've got no
Which what we'd like to hear.
We all apologise for that. Now, the rest of the staff team are no strangers to the spotlight either, not least Butterworth. He once offered a lecture on particle physics in a charity auction to raise money for his local school. But he raised more money than a pair of Lady Gaga's boots. Right, now you all know the rules. We kick off with a starter for 10 and then a bonus round for the team that answers correctly, with 3 questions worth 5 points each. Interrupting a starter question with an incorrect answer loses you 5 points. Before we start, it's essential that I test the intelligence of the audience. Otherwise, we're going to have to cancel the show completely. There's no point in performing in front of a dumb audience. So, there are no prizes for you, but there's huge prestige for the first person to shout out the answer, because I'm afraid you don't all have buzzers. So, audience, this is your starter for 10. As a tribute to one of his most acclaimed sketches, Ronnie Barker's memorial service in Westminster Abbey began with the clergy being led in by servers bearing how many and of what item? 4 candles, that's right, 4 candles, isn't it? Well done, excellent. Okay, I don't think we need to worry. The teams are now going to get ready for the really hard questions. We're going to come back to you in the audience later in the gap between the 2 rounds, so be ready for your follow-on questions as you've got your starter for 10. In the meantime, though, no shouting out answers and no secret signalling from the audience, please. So, fingers on buzzers, teams, for the first starter for 10. Which 1993 English literature graduate went on to film scenes for his movie
Alumni Bramall.
Christopher Nolan.
That is correct. 10 points for the alumni. So following on, your bonus questions to the alumni team. First, which novel of 1872 by Thomas Hardy takes its title from a song in Shakespeare's As You Like It? I'm going to have to get you to get your act together.
Under the Greenwood Tree?
Correct. 5 points. The Coen brothers' film No Country for Old Men takes its title from the first line of a work first published in 1928 by which poet?
W.B. Yeats.
Correct. And do you know the title?
Nominate.
You've got the correct answer. I think we can allow them that. The title of the poem was Sailing to Byzantium. W.B. Yeats is correct. Another 5 points. Third question. The rock band Coldplay borrowed the title of their 2008 album, Viva la Vida, from a painting by which Mexican artist? I know this, I heard you coming across, so that's good. We like to hear that. So all we need now is the answer to go with it. Scratching of heads, tapping of fingers.
Sorry, I can't. Sorry, pass.
The answer was Frida Kahlo. But well done, you've set yourselves with 20 points. So, the next starter for 10. Both teams, fingers on buttons. What 4-letter word can mean the spawn of oysters or other shellfish, a flat instrument used in playing ball games, a quarrel or dispute, a short gate...
Academics Butterworth.
Spat. That is correct, a spat. 10 points for the staff team. So, into your bonus questions, staff team. First, which cooked dessert made with meringue and ice cream is known as an omelette norvégienne, of Norway omelette in France, after both its appearance and its contents?
Baked Alaska.
Correct. 5 points. Which dough-based confections filled with an almond or marzipan cream are known as ein Kopenhager in Vienna and Wienerbrot, or Vienna bread, in the country after which they are usually named in Britain? Going to have to hurry you.
Profiteroles.
No, I mean, downstairs in the green room you had Danish pastries. Oh dear, you can't get the staff, you know. Right, your third question. Zuppa inglese, or English soup, is the Italian name for which dessert?
Custard.
Custard.
I don't think we can let them have that, can we, Brain?
No.
No, I'm afraid the answer is trifle.
Ugh,
And I'm
they're
sorry.
wrong.
I'm sorry.
I'm querying that as a terrible name for trifle. It's not soup. Soup should move.
Now, I'm afraid the Brain's decision is final on this, Scott. I know you're unbearing to be competitive, but you're going to have to stay in place for the moment, I'm afraid. I do also apologise for predicting that question when I was down in the green room. I hadn't seen them before. But you still didn't get the clue. Anyway, right. Third question. Starter for 10. Teams, fingers on buzzers. Sharing a profession with Margaret Thatcher, which current world leader earned a doctorate in quantum?
Alumni Wesson.
Angela Merkel.
That is correct. So you have 10 points. Angela Merkel, the Chancellor of Germany. So the follow-up bonus questions for the alumni team. Which term is used for the disciplinary procedure by which the Speaker excludes an MP from the House for a period of 5 days for disregarding the authority of the Chair?
Naming.
Correct. 5 points. In the Commons, what is the precise qualification for being elected Father of the House?
The longest serving male MP. Continuous service.
I don't think we can accept that because it's the longest unbroken service as an MP. And I don't think it has to be a male MP, does it?
Yeah, it does, because the mother of the house is Harriet Harman.
The mother of the house. So, Brain, your decision is final on this. Stay in your seat.
I think we should allow that.
Right, we're going to allow that. So 5 points. Well done. And the third question of your follow-up questions. Traditionally, MPs, being commoners, are not permitted to undergo what process within the Palace of Westminster? As a result, if they should happen to undergo it, it is officially recorded to have taken place in St Thomas's Hospital over the river.
Dying.
Correct. They're not allowed to die in the Palace of Westminster. St Thomas's must be so thrilled. And finally, in this little bit of the round, the starter for 10, again, fingers on buttons. Which human diseases are caused by rhinoviruses?
Alumni Hinstridge.
The common cold.
Correct, colds. Well done, yes. Excellent. So, alumni, into the follow-up questions. Bonus questions, in this case, all on nicknames. Which king was nicknamed Old Copper-Nose after he debased silver coinage in order to pay for wars against France and Scotland? The raised areas of his portrait on such coins would rub off, revealing that there was copper below. Which king?
Wars against Scotland. Edward the First?
I'm afraid it was Henry VIII.
Oh.
Yes, Old Copper-Nose. Right, so no points for that. But your second question, and in fact there are only 2 questions in this card. if the table behind me can draw a clue from that, please. Which pre-conquest king was the son of Forkbeard and father of Harefoot? I think that is the second question, yes. I won't read you the second and third together. So I'm wanting to know the pre-conquest king who was the son of Forkbeard and father of Harefoot. Isn't it great when there's a show within a show?
Canute.
Correct. 5 points. And your final question, which I've now found, which Plantagenet king was known as Fitz-Empress because his mother's first husband, his stepfather, had been Holy Roman Emperor? Would you like me to read that one again?
Yeah, please.
Yes, I'd like to read that again. Which Plantagenet king was known as Fitz-Empress because his mother's first husband, his stepfather, had been Holy Roman Emperor?
So the mother's going to be on that too.
Absolutely on that. So it's either John or Richard the Lionheart.
I think this is one of those questions that gets you a place in MI5 as well, by the way. One of those things that comes up on the Today programme.
Is it Richard the Lionheart?
I'm afraid it was Henry II, so no points for that. Now, we're going to move to a picture question, and teams, if you get ready to look round, the picture question starter for 10 is, kidnapped by UCL students from a carpet shop on
Alumni Wesson.
Phineas.
Correct. Phineas was the mascot. He took his place where he still stands in the student union. Now, bonus questions on university mascots. Subject to multiple kidnappings by UCL students, what is the name of the lion mascot of King's College London, which I believe is also known as Strand Polly, isn't it?
It is.
It is.
Reggie.
Reggie, that is correct. Which animal is represented on LSE's coat of arms and was adopted as the school's mascot?
I have absolutely no idea.
Any animals involved in economics? A dolphin.
No, a beaver. So no points for that. And your third bonus question, City and Guilds College Union, part of Imperial College London, has a mascot called Bournages. What is it?
City or a guild? I don't know.
Just check my pronunciation. Bournages? Bournages.
A lion.
No, it's a car, a 1902 James and Brown.
Of course it is.
And in fact, they also used to have another mascot, which is a very large model of a screw gauge, which stands over the entrance to the building. Because I remember when I was at UCL, we actually stole it one year and sent it back encased in concrete.
You crazy kids.
After that, we adopted the post office tower as our mascot, and we didn't have any trouble from them afterwards. Right, starter for 10. Ready on buzzers? Hold your hand out, you naughty boy. I'll make a man of you. They were all... sorry, I'll start that again. Apologies. Hold your hand out, you naughty boy. I'll make a man of you. They were only playing leapfrog, and Hush, Here Comes a Whiz-Bang are among the songs in which...
Alumni Macket.
Oh, What a Lovely War.
That is correct. And for those of you with the time, if you go to the bar afterwards, you'll see the programme for that show that I designed at the end of the 1960s, now framed. We performed it in this very theatre. So, bonus questions to follow on. All these bonus questions are on London fires. First question. Scene of the execution of Charles I in 1649, which was the only part of the Palace of Whitehall to survive the fire of 1698?
Banqueting house.
That is correct. The Banqueting House, Whitehall, 5 points. Second question. A belief that the Great Fire of 1666 was divine punishment for the sin of gluttony arose because it began in Pudding Lane and ended at which corner in Smithfield?
Corner of Smithfield. With a snow.
Started in Pudding Lane. I'm going to have to hurry you, I'm afraid. Where did it finish?
Sorry.
It finished at Pye Corner, hence the gluttony. No points for second question. Third question. The artist J.M.W. Turner made a series of watercolour sketches, now in Tate Britain, of the fire of 1834 that destroyed which London building?
The House Houses of Parliament.
Houses of Parliament, yes. You're getting very eager on the buzzers there, but that's all right. Don't worry, it's good to practice. Keep your hand in. Keep your hand in.
System works.
So, Palace of Westminster or Houses of Parliament is correct. So, just looking at the moment, the alumni have got 95 points, and we've got 15 for the staff. So, bonus is not looking too secure in other senses for the staff. Let's see how we can get on with the next question. Starter for 10. Teams, fingers on buzzers. According to its manufacturers and distributors, which traditional commodity cost 7 pence in 1962, 54 pence in 1982, and £1.87 in 2002? I'm going to have to hurry you.
Academics Scott.
Pint of beer.
Correct. Yes. And that is correct. Technically, it's a pint of bitter, but I think we can accept a pint of beer. And I'm very pleased to see that the staff still know about drinking, even though the younger generation have lost the habit. So, bonus question for the staff team. The bonus questions for you are on flags. Which country's flag, adopted in 1949, features one large star and 4 smaller ones, said to represent the proletariat, the peasants, the petty bourgeoisie, and the patriotic capitalists? Proletariat, peasants, petty bourgeoisie, and patriotic capitalists.
China.
The People's Republic of China is correct. I think we can accept that. Second question. The 5 points of the white star on which African countries... Sorry, I'll phrase that correctly. You see, I haven't seen the questions before either. The 5 points of the white star on which African country's flag represents its people's traditional homelands, some of which now lie in Djibouti, Ethiopia, and Kenya.
Sudan.
No, the answer is Somalia. No points for that question. The third question. Which Asian country became fully independent in 1965 and has a crescent and 5 stars on its flag representing democracy, peace, progress, justice, and equality?
Malaysia.
Close. The answer is Singapore, but I'm afraid no points. Starter for 10, fingers on buttons. Which neuroscientist is the most recent UCL academic to win the Nobel?
Academics Scott.
John O'Keefe.
That is correct. Professor John O'Keefe won the 2014 Nobel Prize for Physiology or Medicine for his discovery of the brain's inner GPS. So you see, you don't even need an iPhone. Now then, bonus questions for the staff on George Orwell. In which novel does the central character go hop-picking in Kent, as Orwell himself had done in summer 1931?
Keep the aspidistra flying.
The answer is A Clergyman's Daughter. Second question. Gordon Comstock, an aspiring writer who works in a bookshop, as Orwell himself once did, is the protagonist of which novel?
Keep the green aspidistra flying.
Keep the aspidistra flying,
yeah.
Is what I heard.
Yeah.
I think I heard an extra word, but I'll forget the extra word I had. Keep the aspidistra flying is correct. We can let them have that, can't we, Brian?
Yes.
Good.
That's the next one.
So, they are rather a long way behind. So I've got to try and keep the staff's reputation up. It is a university, after all. Right, the third question for the staff team. Ministry of Truth. I'm sorry.
Is it Ministry of Truth?
Well, that's right. I think I get 5 points for that one. What do we do in these circumstances?
Yes, we do.
An extra card. I did say you can't get the staff, didn't I?
We'd have all known that, by the way. We'd definitely...
Right.
1984.
Well, a second question. This time I'll ask you the question rather than the answer, and we'll see if that works better. The third question. This is on female names. Abigail is the mischief-making niece of Reverend Paris, in which stage work, set in 17th century Salem and first performed in
Crucible.
1953. That is correct. 5 marks for that. And -5 for me. So, starter for 10. Fingers on buzzers. And I'll ask the question this time. The atlas and the coccyx are found in which?
Alumni Bramall.
The vertebral column, the spine.
That is correct.
That was a medicine question.
So, bonus questions on religion. Now, the first of your religious questions. One of the 5 pillars of Islam, what is Sawm, or Sawm, practiced by Muslims from sunrise to sunset during Ramadan?
Fasting.
That is correct. 5 points. Second question. In Sikhism, what is the symbol of Kesh, which results in the wearing of a turban by males?
To never cut your hair.
Long, unshorn hair. I can accept that for 5 points. And the third question on religion, one of the 4 noble truths of Buddhism, what is the name of the final liberation from desire and ignorance?
Nirvana.
Correct. 5 more points. Well done. Now, we're getting to one final picture question in this first half of the show. That's the buzzer to tell me we're getting to the end, so I'll just ask you for the starter, and I won't go on to the follow-ups afterwards. So, both teams, fingers on buzzers. This statue by John Flaxman sits in UCL's Flaxman Gallery. What does it depict?
Alumni Mackett.
Leonidas.
No, the answer is a St. Michael overcoming Satan or Lucifer. So no points for that one. And in fact, that isn't a -5, is it? No. Because they didn't interrupt. That's fine.
Give us a
Right.
But you didn't give us a chance to answer, just saying. We all knew that.
I should have bounced it over. Give them 5 points. I don't
Sorry for us.
I won't take any off you. Right. Now then, you lot have had your starter. This isn't for me to be ill, by the way. I think this was meant for the question cards when they'd been used. But I'm moving it to one side because I'm going to come and do a Jeremy Kyle or an Oprah Winfrey with you, because now it's your turn. We've already given you your starter for 10, and so I've now got 3 bonus questions for you. And you ought to be able to answer them because all of the bonus questions are about UCL alumni. Right, are you ready? Okay. Fingers on voices, please. Which astrophysics graduate became Tory MP for South Cambridgeshire in 2015, then left to briefly become UCL's first alumni leader of a political party? She then left that party to stand as an independent MP. And no shouting out from behind, please. Don't. Well done. I was getting it bouncing off the back. Well done. So, round of applause. I knew we had a good quality audience. Well done. Right. Let's try you with another one. Which UCL alumna, you there, was a member of the band Suede before going... Very good. Excellent. Which year were you in University Challenge? You weren't, okay. She studied architecture at the Bartlett, by the way, as did I. But I haven't gone on to found a band, although I am doing my television presenting audition at the moment. Now, finally, your third question, and see if we can let somebody else get it this time, shall we? In 2016, a computer program called AlphaGo, so this is obviously one for the geeks in the audience, beat a human grandmaster of the game Go by 4 games to 1. The founders of the artificial intelligence company that created the program met at UCL. What is the company called? DeepMind, well done. What an audience, excellent. DeepMind was founded by Demis Hassabis and Shane Legg, and they indeed did meet at UCL. Now, clearly the audience is a great deal more intelligent than the teams, but keep that to yourselves, really, because I don't want to upset them before the second half. I should just say that while I'm out talking to you, this stage means a great deal to me. In 1968, when I arrived at UCL at the Bartlett to study architecture, this theatre was brand new. It had never been used. And I was a member of stage committee who came in to run the theatre. We were the student group that actually ran it. Can you imagine being given this as a toy? We played with the lights, we played with the sound, and did all of those things. And other students used to come in and act on the stage. I mean, that just got in the way as far as we were concerned. We just wanted to play with the theatre. But it was wonderful. I can remember in my first term being down in the pit. I know Frank has taken his place down in the orchestra pit, where this part of the stage goes down, playing for the premiere of a Beethoven opera. Now, I'm not that old. It's just that it hadn't been performed until the late 60s in this country, the opera Leonora. And I actually sat in the pit playing the viola, the first time I'd ever been to the opera in my life, and I was playing in one and in a Beethoven premiere. Later on, I appeared on this stage, as you've already heard, dressed as a nun. Now, there was a reason for that. I wasn't in drag, particularly. I was appearing in Brendan Behan's The Hostage, where I was playing the part of the IRA officer, and I developed a cod Irish accent, which still means I can't go to Dublin, because they think I'm taking the mica whenever I come out with the lines I learned for the play. But in the last act of that play, which we set in a Dublin brothel on the stage, just the sort of thing students do, I had to disguise myself as a nun to escape in the last act. Now, I was away from UCL for a very long time practicing planning in the City of London and other parts of London. Yes, I'm afraid the gherkin, the walkie-talkie, the cheese grater are my fault when I was the chief planner. If you don't like them, you know who to blame. But I came back at the end of my career to take up a professorship as Professor of Places. And one of the first things I did, or was asked and pushed into doing, was to appear on this stage with a spotlight, a solo microphone, when I did stand-up comedy as part of Bright Club. So today's challenge of learning how to be a TV presenter is just one more challenge for Peter Rees on the stage of the Bloomsbury Theatre. So thank you all for sharing it with me. Now then, back to the important part, back to the teams. I did say earlier that there's a fifth member of the alumni team in the audience, and the alumni team have decided that they're going to do a weakest link style vote-off to bring on their secret weapon. So, alumni team, who are we saying goodbye to? I'm going to have to hurry you, I'm afraid.
I'll go. I'm off.
Oh, Histridge, you are the weakest link. So, please welcome Ollie Usher to take over from Histridge on the alumni team. Right, let's get back to the game. We've got 15 minutes to go, and it's all to play for. And just to let you know what the scores are, at the moment, the staff team are on 55 points, and the alumni team are on 120. So they are not going to be in the same strong position today, obviously. So we're going to resume. And we start again with a starter for 10. Fingers on buzzers, please. In 1949, who became UCL's first tenured woman professor?
Alumni?
Is it Kathleen Lonsdale?
It is Kathleen Lonsdale, Professor of Chemistry and later head of the Department of Crystallography. So, alumni, well done. And here are your bonus questions on first names. Hebrew in origin, and meaning God beholds, an early use of which girl's name occurs in Shakespeare's Merchant of Venice as the daughter of Shylock?
Jessica.
Correct, for 5 points, Jessica. Second question. Which male given name owed much of its initial popularity to the surname of an English admiral who defeated the Spanish at Cape St. Vincent in 1790? An English admiral. You have to hurry, you hear?
Bing.
Yeah, the answer is Rodney, I'm afraid, so no points for that. And your third question. The Greek for young green shoot is the derivation of which five-letter girl's name? You can give me the Greek or the English.
Chloe.
It is Chloe, and in Greek, chloros. 5 more points. Starter for 10, fingers on buzzers. What vegetable is the distinguishing feature of a dish described as Florentine?
Alumni Macket.
Spinach.
Correct, spinach. Bonus questions for the alumni team on politicians. First question, which senator for Arkansas gave his name to a 1946 program to enable study abroad? The name of the senator?
No, that's Cecil Rhodes, though.
Nominate Usher.
No, it's William Fulbright. Fulbright scholarships. Yes, I can tell most of the audience had got that one. Glad you didn't shout that out. Second question. Born Maria Jane Corbell in 1937, whom did Bill Clinton appoint as Secretary of State in 1996?
Madeleine Albright.
Correct. Third question. What structure did Walter Ulbricht cause to be erected virtually overnight in August 1961?
The Berlin Wall.
Correct. Another 5 points. Yes, they're motoring away at the moment, so please, staff. Fingers on your buzzers, please. Starter for 10. What links the giving of Maundy money, Ladies' Day at Ascot?
Academics Wilson.
Thursday.
It is correct. They're all on Thursday. And the final one, which you didn't even need to get to, was and UK general elections since 1935. They all happen on a Thursday. Bonus questions on British fashion. Ah, well, yes. Oh, perhaps not. No, okay. Right. Which shoe company was established in the Somerset village of Street in 1825 by its eponymous founder, a Quaker, and remains largely owned by his family?
Clark's.
Correct, Clark's, the shoe company. Second, famed for its jackets, which outdoor clothing company was established at number 5 Marketplace, South Shields in 1894?
Barber.
Correct, those famous waxed cotton jackets, Barber jackets. And your final question, your third question on fashion, which former draper's apprentice invented the breathable and waterproof gabardine fabric in 1880 and gave his name to a company known for its red, black, and camel check?
Macintosh?
No, it was Burberry.
You're right. Sorry.
I can tell none of you...
Let everyone know that...
Obviously, none of you come from Essex.
Sorry, no.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
That's on me. That's on me.
Yeah. Sorry. I usually make jokes about Milton Keynes, and I always get into trouble for those too. Starter for 10 teams, fingers on buzzers, and this is a picture question. To what figure in UCL history do these spectacles belong?
Alumni Bramall.
Jeremy Bentham.
That is correct, Jeremy Bentham. Bentham specs. Right, well, we now get 3 bonus questions on Jeremy Bentham. First, what is the name of the friend of Bentham who he requested in his will should carry out the autopsy and taxidermy of his corpse? Isn't that a nice thing to ask a friend to do? But you have to hurry, I'm afraid.
Huxley.
No, I'm afraid it was Dr. Southwood Smith. And in fact, I believe he actually had the stuffed cadaver sitting in his kitchen for at least a year before UCL would agree to accept it.
I'm sure his wife was delighted with that.
Absolutely, yes. Apparently they had some very erudite conversations. Right, the second question. I hope I haven't actually given the answers already, but I mustn't be too creative. Second, Bentham was famously eccentric, naming his teapot Dicky and his walking stick Dapple. What did he name his cat? Bentham's cat. We're finding their weak spots now.
Delphi.
No, the cat of Jeremy Bentham was called the Reverend Sir John Langbourne. Can you imagine opening the back door and shouting that? UCL's archive is home to 2 human skulls left to the university by their owners. Bentham's is one. Whose is the second human skull?
Could be.
Let's go Huxley again.
No, I'm afraid it's Flinders Petrie, the Egyptologist after whom UCL's Petrie Museum is named. One of the few answers I actually knew without looking at the card. But I don't get any points for that. Starter for 10, and with the score standing at 75 for the staff team, and not very different, just as a 1 in front of it, 170 for the alumni team. Starter for 10, fingers on buzzers. Which Nobel Prize winner first joined UCL through the cooperating committee set up to support refugee students fleeing Nazi persecution?
Alumni Bramall.
Sir Bernard Katz.
That is correct, Sir Bernard Katz. Your bonus questions, alumni, on Britain. Which is the earliest known name for the island of Britain being used by Greek geographers of the 4th century BC?
Albion.
Albion is correct, 5 points. Second, the name Albion has been translated as white land and was explained by the Romans as referring to which geographic feature?
White Cliffs of Dover.
Correct, 5 points. And the third question, which pejorative adjective was used in connection with Albion in a poem of 1793 by the Marquis de Zimene?
Perfidious.
Correct, perfidious Albion. So, starter for 10 again, fingers on buttons. Which planet is principally made of iron, but shares...
Alumni Wesson.
Mercury.
Correct, Mercury is the answer. It shares its name with a different metal, obviously. You got that one, did you, in the front row? Excellent, right, pleased to hear that. Bonus questions on an island. On which island in the Bay of Naples is the celebrated cave known as the Blue Grotto?
Capri.
Correct, Capri, 5 points. Second question, which Roman emperor retired to Capri in the 1st century AD?
Nero.
Tiberius, no points. And the third question, which Rochdale-born singer and comedienne followed his example and retired to the island in the 1950s?
Gracie Fields.
Gracie Fields is correct, 5 more points. Anything you'd like to say, staff team?
We like to make the students look good.
We like to make the students look good. You see what a kind, considerate staff we have at University College and how we pamper the students and former students like yourselves. So, starter for 10, both teams, come along, fingers on buttons. The town of Oltu in eastern Turkey is often cited as the birthplace of which popular fast food dish?
Alumni Wesson.
The kebab.
I can pass that over. I'm going to have to hurry you. Popular fast food dish?
Shish kebab.
A doner kebab, I'm afraid. Well, you know, if students don't know what they're eating after 8 pints on a Saturday night, I'm afraid that reads very badly. So, next starter for 10. This is taking us into a picture question again. Name this London university.
Academics Butterworth.
Imperial.
Indeed. And the full question was, name this London university that in 2002 proposed that it and UCL should merge to create the world's #1 university. I don't know why we needed to merge with anybody to do that. Now you see, that's what's called playing to the gallery. Bonus questions on London universities, then. By what derogatory name is the excellent King's College London known by UCL students?
I believe you mentioned it earlier. I think it's Strand Poly. Thanks for that.
But we knew anyway.
We knew that anyway.
Good. I'm very good at asking answers, as you already know. Strand Poly, or Poly on the Strand, the nickname for King's College London. The reason, of course, is... No, I was just about to answer the second question. I really must stop doing ad-libs. When King's College London was founded in the Anglican tradition in response to UCL's secularism, what derogatory name did students apply to UCL referring to our perceived atheism?
Nominate Butterworth.
The godless institution of Gower Street.
The godless scum of Gower Street, but I think, or the godless
I was
college of
censoring.
Gower Street, or the godless of Gower Street. I think from all of those we can give you the 5 points. Yes, the godless scum of Gower Street. Dear, oh dear. And the third, in the 2019 QS World University Rankings, UCL was rated the 10th best university in the world. What was King's ranked?
I'd be ashamed to know exactly.
About 21st.
About 25.
Within the nearest 10, I'm prepared to accept.
25.
25.
He's within the nearest 10.
Well, 31. I did say within the
You
nearest.
said within 10.
The main thing is that we get the facts out. So, well done. Another 5 points to the staff team. Right, another starter for 10. Fingers on buttons, please. In statistics, the capital of which Greek letter is used to denote the sum?
Alumni Wesson.
Sigma.
Sigma, correct. Well, I'm surprised these aren't going to the staff team, but these are bonus questions on Nobel Prizes in physics. So, good luck. Some apologies. Yes, wouldn't that have been fun? Well, yes, assuming you got them right, of course.
Well, that's what I mean. I'm relieved.
First question on Nobel Prizes in physics. Who won the first prize awarded in 1901 and given, according to the citation, in recognition of the extraordinary services he has rendered by the discovery of the remarkable rays named after him?
Röntgen?
Yes, Röntgen or Röntgen. X-rays were originally invented by him and called Röntgen rays.
It should have been Professor X, I thought.
Yes, Professor X. I think I could have given you 5 points for that. Very good. Well, in fact, I think we should give them 5 points for that. After all, they do it on just a minute. I don't see why I shouldn't do it. Second question on Nobel Prizes. Which Hungarian-born British scientist won the prize in 1971 for his invention and development of the holographic method? Well, in the
We don't know, sorry.
In the circumstances, I'm going to pass this one across as well.
That's not fair.
I don't know the answer. No? Okay, it was Dennis Gabel. Third question. Although particularly associated with another advance in theoretical physics, which laureate was awarded the prize in 1921, especially for his discovery of the law of the photoelectric effect?
Albert Einstein.
Correct, Albert Einstein.
I knew that one.
Points. You knew that one. Good. Excellent. Start of a 10. Teams, fingers on buttons, please. In what part of Britain did Jeremy Bentham spend the war before returning to Gower Street in 1946?
Alumni Bramall.
Hull?
No. I know it was capital of culture a little while back, but no, it was...
Nope.
Oh, yes, I can, can't I? I can pass it over because it's not Hull.
Because we definitely know this.
Yeah.
Good. Where did Bentham spend the war?
Cornwall.
No, it was Stanstedbury, near Stansted Abbots, near Ware. I'd have accepted any of those answers, but not Hull or Cornwall.
Well,
No,
even if we'd
the
have just said
university
where.
moved to Hull. And
Where?
We should have just said where.
Where?
I did say that.
Right. Fingers on buttons, starter for 10. An Enneagram has how many points?
Academics Wilson.
9.
Correct, 9 points in an Enneagram. Start. Bonus questions on African land borders. In each case, name the country from its two neighbours. The two neighbours in the first question are South Africa and Mozambique. I'm going to have to hurry, I'm afraid.
We go in Namibia.
And I'm afraid it's Swaziland. Second question. The two neighbours are Liberia and Guinea.
Democratic Republic of Congo.
No, Sierra Leone. Third try. The two neighbours are Algeria and Libya.
Tunisia.
Correct, 5 points. Starter for 10. What phase is the moon entering when it is described as a waning crescent?
Alumni Bramall.
New moon.
No, it's the last.
We know
I can still pass that across. They still won't be able to get it.
I don't know, what do you call phases anyway? The last quarter.
No, you see, this is bad. You give them half the answer and they still can't get it. The answer is the last quarter.
I said that.
You did say that. Well, Brain says he said that, so okay. You get 5 points. Yeah, don't argue.
This is getting embarrassing, isn't it?
Okay. Well, in that case, you can have the bonus questions on honorary fathers. First question. Robert Boyle, the youngest son of the 17th century Earl of Cork, is known as the father of which subject? Robert Boyle, youngest son of the 17th century Earl of Cork, father of which subject?
Chemistry.
Correct, chemistry, 5 points. Second question. Which 16th century French writer was called the father of ridicule? Would you have ever thought the French would be associated with ridicule? No, I'm afraid it was François Rabelais. And the third go, the Venerable Bede, often called the father of English history, spent almost all of his life in which northern monastery? Going to have to hurry you here. Go.
I would say Iona.
No, it was Jarrow.
So you said that, so...
Well, yes, but you just have to say it a little bit louder. Right. Starter for 10, fingers on buttons. In classical history, what number was indicated by the word myriad?
Academics Wilson.
1,000. 1,000.
No, it was
10,000.
correct. In Greek, that's myrioi, apparently. I almost got there before you, but you did quite rightly prompt me. It was your turn. So, bonus questions now on controversial photographs. What did the cousins Elsie Wright and Francis Griffiths claim to have photographed in their garden in Cottingley in 1917?
Fairies.
Correct, fairies at the bottom of their garden. 5 points. What did the London surgeon George Spicer claim to have photographed on the 1st of April 1933?
Loch Ness Monster.
Correct, the Loch Ness Monster. And third question, a photograph taken by Roger Patterson at Bluff Creek, California in 1967 purports to depict which creature?
Bigfoot.
Bigfoot or Sasquatch, correct. Another 5 points. Well, we've had the final buzzer, but I was just about to start the starter for 10, so one more starter for 10 to both teams, but with no follow-ups. About 400 light years away, what young open star cluster is also known as...
Alumni Wesson.
The Pleiades.
The Pleiades is correct. So there we are. We've got similar scores. They've all got 3 figures in them. And the final score shows the staff as having got 135 and the alumni as having got 270. So congratulations to the alumni team. You're the winners of this competition. And before we thank them officially, there's now going to be a little trophy presentation. And I believe that we have some trophies backstage, which I can see at the very far end, and they don't seem to be walking on their own towards at this very moment. I can see them glistening, and how they're glistening. But there are people picking them up and heading this way, and we're going to be handing out the trophies. First, thank you very much. That's very kind. So, the trophies will continue to come up, and while they do, can I just say, we've got already given them a round of applause, but can we have a big cheer for the winning team, please? And some endless shame for the losers. Can we have can we have an extra shout out for the geniuses in the audience, please? Well done to the audience. Thank you all for coming. Please stay on for the other festival activities and the food stalls on Wilkins Terrace particularly. And you can reach those by turning right as you head out of the building and head right again through the new Student Centre. And when you go through the Student Centre, I'd like you to realise that University College now has more space allocated for students to work in than it has for students to drink in.
Shame.
Absolutely. I don't know what things are coming to. Student life is changing. So now it's time to say goodbye from the UCL alumni team.
Bye.
It's goodbye from the UCL staff team. Goodbye from the brain, Frank.
Goodbye.
And it's goodbye from me. Goodbye.
It was very relieving. We got